get started. Okay, so again, welcome. And you see me got my old calibration bag there. I don't know if they still use that or not, but anyway, nice introduction here. Okay. So before we have the new calibration module, the new tool, you can do daily calibrations and you can do precision calibration, something that we never had. So we're excited about that. But before you actually calibrate or precision calibration, you have to set up some things, and I'll go through that right now. So of course, the devices that many individuals use out there. The reason why we do this is, of course, Method 21 PA, Method 21 instructions, and tells you how to do the precision and also the daily calibration. It also requires you to do that. So that's why we do what we do, okay, because of the Method 21. Okay. But the preliminary setup, the permissions that you will need in order to use this tool is can manage components and can manage quarantine. So those are the two that you are required to have to use the tool. Okay. Of course, you probably got all of them select for you if you're the administrator. But if you just got a technician coming in, they have to have those two. That's going to be doing the calibration. Okay. So to set it up in SkyBridge, you're going to see under configuration is company settings, and also under smart browser is quarantine setup. So it's two, but it's same form here. But if you notice here under company settings, you still have peg value. That's been added here. It had its own table and also Sky Mobile signature verbiage. But uh, if you notice at the top right, it says Method 21 inspection process check require passing calibration. You got an option not to or require passing calibration. Over to the bottom left, require passing calibration in Sky Mobile. So if you don't have that, if you have that checked and you try to monitor without having a calibration, it will let you know. Okay. And then response time visibility, precision, initial calibration have to enter in a response time. Okay. The next one is the calibration threshold. What calibration gases that you want to calibrate with? And this is where you're going to go ahead and put that information here. So if you notice here, I have the calibration gas 500. I want to not only use it for my initial calibration, but also my drift calibration as well. Okay, my drift calibration. And like 0, I don't have a drift on it, so I have that unchecked for required. Drift required, I have it unchecked for 0 gas. The next one, of course, this one's you familiar with. This is actually where you put in the calibration gas. This is the form we've been having in here. You do have ability to make an attachment now. You didn't have that before, so you can attach a document like that document that you get from the provider, the vendor that sells you the calibration gas, the span gas. They give you a certification paper. You can actually attach that certification paper here. Okay. All right. The next thing is the ability to do the calibrations not only in SkyBridge, but also in Sky Mobile. And these are the options. The initial, you can do draft, and then you can do the precision in the mobile device too. Okay. So not only can you do all these here in the mobile, but you can do them in SkyBridge manually as well. And I'll try to show you the mobile side of it. Okay. This is the calibration form. When you hit the add new calibration on the calibration history, you get a choice, initial, drift, or precision. And now, of course, this is where you're going to enter in. Of course, you got notes here you can put there too. Like, for instance, this is the 4th quarter precision calibrations for such and such or for such and such machine. And then as you go down here, as you can see, initial, you do 0, you put in the response time. You do 500, you put in the response time, and then you go on and finish it up. Once you're done, you can hit save, and that's your calibration for today. Okay, for that day. And then of course, this is another little tool we have here. Like I think they want it where you, rather than going to a new facility, another facility, and have to recalibrate, you can synchronize calibration from, and then synchronize to the date. And then of course you're going to pick the facility that you're at here. Okay? And then you can do the daily calibration or precision only. And then you hit sync. That way you don't have to recalibrate when you cross the street to another facility, if you have access to that facility. And then it's the report. Now the reports are going to come in whenever you have a calibration and a precision. The precision is going to be on the first page, and as you can see, it says precision yes. And in that in case it has me do the 0 too here, but I'll show you how to either if you want to do the 0 gas with the precision, you don't have to, but I'll show you how you can eliminate that. But this is, I did the 0 gas here. Here's the 500, the 2000, and 10,000. And then you can sign it, of course, if you run it as an edit PDF or edit report, you can actually put a signature here and save it in a folder in the file manager in SkyBridge. So that's pretty cool. Now the next, of course, the next page is going to be the daily calibration, precision no, passing yes, it passed. And of course, it has the technician name, the instrument, the date, whether you had a extended probe or not, the flow rate, and this is the precision calibration for that. And again, you can sign this and save it into the folder as well. Okay. Have the technician sign that. Question: Is there a way to tie? Is there a way to tie the response time to the reset button? Not right now, because I did that right before we came on, and I'd still have to enter it in manually. I know what you're talking about, though. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and go into some real-time stuff here. So if I go here and I'm gonna go ahead and open up SkyBridge, and I'm gonna drag that over here so you can see it. So again, the first thing you're gonna do is, of course, everything's under Smart Browse here. As you can see, you have quarantine validation, whether or not you want to use. It says here, require passing calibration, allow without passing calibration. As quarantine, you get that message, no calibration record. This is where you turn it on and off here. Okay. And I got both here, require passing calibration. Then under Smart Browse 2, you have the threshold here. So the threshold is what calibration gases I'm going to be calibrating, precision and the daily calibration or initial calibration here. Okay. So on the precision, here I got required the 0 gas, the 500, and the 10,000. If you do not want to include the 0 gas with your precision calibration, you just come in here and uncheck that, and it won't show up on your precision. But if you check it, it will. And when you go back to do your initial, you just come back and check it here to do your initial daily calibration. Now I'll show you how to do the manual side, and then I'll come back and show you how to do the mobile side of it. Okay. So again, this is the threshold. These are the calibration gases that I'm going to calibrate. The 0, initial calibration, the 0, the 500, and the 10,000. But I'm going to show you how to do the precision first, and I'll include the 0, but you understand if you don't want the 0, just uncheck that, right? Okay. Because the precision, the method 21 precision calibration, you only use 0 to stabilize your gases here, to introduce your 0 to get it down to 0, and then hit it with the span gas, 500, 10,000, 2,000, or 1,000, whatever the case may be. Okay, so here I'll go to the next one. I'll show you here is the calibration gas here, and of course this is where you're going to add your gases, expiration dates for the gas, all that information that you get off your certification. And again, you can upload now an attachment to your calibration individual span gases. Okay. Yeah. And the next one here under Smart Browse is the actual calibration history. This is where you're going to actually enter in the calibration here. And what I'll do is do the calibration, the precision, and then I'll do the initial calibration or daily calibration. But I want to just do without the 0, save time. So I'm going to go back under threshold here, and I'm going to uncheck the initial requirement here for calibration gas. So when I go back over here to Smart Browser and I go to calibration history, I'm going to enter in, I'm going to go and hit the add new button here. And as you can see, I have the different the instruments here. I do the Phoenix 42. The inspector is Alice. And then the flow rate, 1 or 2 of the instrument. And then here's the options here: initial, drift, or precision. I'll go ahead and do the precision. There's a place here for extension probe if you're using that. But as you can see, I don't have the 0, but I do have my 500 and my 10,000. And I have the 3 consecutive monitoring events. And then, of course, here I'm going to go ahead and enter that information in. Okay. And this is the reading for the 500. So I got 499 on this one. And then the response time, I just click in this box. I just put 3 seconds here. Same thing here. And of course, you have to do it 5 times, 3 times, I'm sorry. And then the response time is 3. And then I'll do the last one for 500. And then here, I'll put 3. Okay. And then I'll come down to my 10,000 gas. Okay. And I'll put my, but I didn't catch that. And then I'll go ahead and put in my 3 seconds here. And I got to learn how to put in 10,000. Let me come back to that. Let's see here. This is the last one. Now I got one more. Okay. And then this is the, I keep doing that. I'm sorry about that, guys. Put my glasses on. And then and I'll put my 3 over here. Go back up here and put my 3 here. And then over here, I'll go ahead and straighten that out. Okay. So I got all my, oh, one more. Missed this one. And 3. Okay. So this is my precision calibration here. I'll go ahead and save that. And now before I go ahead and do my daily calibration, I want to go back to the threshold and I want to initiate my 0 gas, turn it back on. So initial required here, save that. And now I can add my my daily calibration. So to do that, come back to calibration history, add button, and then of course it defaults to initial. And then I'm gonna put my instrument, the person that's using or calibrating, and the flow rate, and any notes that you want to put here, you can do that. Okay. But the same thing, you go ahead and introduce your reading, and of course you do your 0 gas, response time, and then you do your next gas. You introduce your 0 to your instrument, then you introduce your 500. Whatever the reading comes up, that's what it is. Okay. And then here, and then the 10,000, same here. And then 3. Okay. And that's your daily calibration here. Okay. And then you go ahead and save that. Okay. You can save that. Okay. And then, of course, you have your daily calibration and your precision calibration here. In the reports, let me just go ahead and see if I can run a report for those. If I go under the monitoring information, and then I go under Sky Mobile, calibration history, the inspector, and the instrument. You don't have to put that. You can just put the date in it to give you all the calibration records. And this is the precision yes here. You can sign this if you want to. Let me just go back over here and run it as an edit report. So here's the edit report. Yes, precision is yes. And then the next page, of course, is the daily calibration. Right. You can come back and do a drift as well. If I go back under here and go back to history, and then I can go back to the add button here. Same thing. The instrument, technician, and now I want to do the drift. And maybe you just do drift on one gas or all the gases. The drift, I think I had unchecked the drift not required on the 0 gas. But the reading here, and it's still within range here. And I can save the drift here for that instrument. Oh, sorry, 0. I thought I had that unchecked for drift. Okay. Then put the flow rate, and now I can save it. Okay, so I got the drift, and if I run that report again, this is monitoring information. Go to Sky Mobile, and I'll just run the edit the report here. Okay, and this is again the precision calibration. Yes. The next page is the calibration passing here, and as you can see, drift pass not available. And here, let's see here, drift. That's the one that we just did. The drift here. Okay. Yes. Precision, no. There's the drift here. There's the calibration record. 115, 117. Okay. All right. So let's go back to the handheld portion of it. Let's go back to Sky Mobile. Now, remember, I'll go ahead and sync this device. And I've checked the button that says initial calibration. You can do the precision in here too, but if you want to do the zeros, you want to add those, you can do that. This one's going to add the zeros because they have initial checked on it. Okay. So I hit close here, and if I go to calibration, okay, I can hit add here, and the date is default, the time, the technician, and all you have to do is just start typing the name, and it's going to get a pick list. And like Alice, the instrument, flow rate, and then here you're going to pick what type. Okay. So I've already got a precision. I just want you to look at it, what it looks like, and I'll go continue. And as you can see, you just put in the 3 gases here. And you see it says fail. So it's going to have you do all the gases before you can move on to calibrate here. Okay. And once you put in the reading, I'm gonna back out because I don't have yeah. So here's the reading here. All you have to do is reset. If you connect it to an analyzer, which I am, you just once you put in the information, like the response time, then you just hit reset reading. And whatever in this box whatever's on the handheld or the instrument will populate this. Like if I go ahead and put in like 500, it'll show 500 when I hit that button here. So I'll go ahead and save that. And see, I put that reading in there. Same thing here. 3. I'll just use 0 this time. Save that. Log the reading, and that's 0. Okay. This is 500, and on my instrument, it's showing 499. All right. So when I go ahead and put the response time here, and I hit reset, it's going to show 499. That's on my instrument. Okay. Same thing here. So all I have to do is hit 3 and then reset. I had more. Was ever on the handheld, it's going to show. Okay. And right now I do the 10,000. And again, this is the precision calibration. And on my instrument, I'm introducing the gas here. And my paperwork say 998. Okay. Save that. And what I like about the handheld device, you have to type it in. And this is what the earlier question about if this would populate. You have to enter it right now manually. Okay. And then my last one is same thing, 3, and then go ahead and reset and then save. Okay. And I think I missed the 0 here. Yep. That's why it said failed at the top. 3. Okay. And so now it says pass. So my precision calibration passed. So I go back and now I want to do my daily calibration. So I hit add here. And remember, you want to pick the initial for the daily calibration here. Continue. And I got my 0 gas here. I'll put my 0. Reset. And then save. And then I'll go to my 500. My instrument. Introduce the gas here. And it said hit reset. And it says 500. And again, my 10,000. Same thing. Whatever it says on my instrument. And I hit the reset button, and it's saved. Okay. I'm missing something here. Oh, see this one right here? Failed. Put the wrong gas in there. Let's see here. That was by design. Okay, 500. Save that. And everything looks good except the 0. I don't think I put it in there for 0. Let me try that maybe. Okay. Reset and save. Oh, got that. Technician. I think I put the wrong technician name in there. See, 500. For some reason it disappeared. We start that all over again. Phoenix. Let me do Alice. Yeah, Alice. 2. And calibration type initial. Sorry about that. Introduce my zero gas and reset save. Introduce my 500. You could type it in manually too. Reset, save. And I don't know why it's doing this, but it shouldn't do that. So I'm just going to go ahead and put it in manually. I think it has to do with my screen. Yeah, it didn't do that earlier. Okay, save that. Okay, so let me do this. Let me break away from my instrument here. Disconnect. Okay. What time? I got 2 minutes left. Okay, I got time. So here's my flow rate, calibration type initial, continue, and in here, save that. And here, and I'm using a emulator, so that may have something to do with it. Save that, and it passed at the top here. So I'll go ahead and sync that information. But before I do that, let me do a drift. And continue. And it gives you those warnings too. Continue. And the drift, I'm going to do 500. And at 10,000. Okay. That drift passed. And now I can go and start monitoring. Now, if you try to go and monitor without the calibration record, it's going to let you know that tells you here the date and time, the response time, and then confirm. But if you didn't have that calibration record and you required one, it would tell you you can't calibrate. I mean, you can't monitor. Okay. So that's a safeguard there. Let's go ahead and sync. Uh, yeah, well, right now you have to use the response time. The question was, Matt, I don't know. Yeah, if you deactivate them, I don't think they're going to show in the pick list. This is Brandy. And we will calibrate each day. We supposed to do the response time each morning, or can we use the response time from the quarterly precision? You have to do the response time on your daily calibration too. Okay. So we just uploaded that. Let's go back to reports. Reports and Sky. What is it? Monitoring. And then let's go to Sky Mobile calibration. And I'll just run that report. Okay. Precision calibration. So I got 10 reports here for that day. And that's the daily calibration. And that's the drift right here. Okay. And you can, of course, remember, you can edit it right here. And what I like to do is go ahead and sign off on these. If you go here, the little feather, remember how we talked about that? Put my doctor's signature there. Save it, and then we can save it. Once you sign all of those documents, you can just save it. I have a folder called Precision Calibration, and I can save it right in that folder. So now when I go to Files, under Precision Calibration, there's my calibration record, right? and it's all signed. So remember, you can access this from anywhere that you have a browser. So if someone calls you and says, hey, did Dwight have a calibration or Alice had a calibration record for that day? This is baby calm. No, let me check. So you go here, go to your folder and click on that for the day. And you can rename these whatever you want to name them. Okay. So remember though, as far as the requirements, if you miss a step, of course, uh, this is new. So if you see something that you want added or you know something, just give us some suggestion. I think it's pretty solid right now, other than the fact that with the zero stuff. But other than that, it's pretty robust. So remember, under quarantine validation, you want to turn it on here. Requires. Here's the other calibration record, but under configuration too, company settings is the same as turning it on here as well. Okay. And then in quarantine, nothing's there. It's just let me go to quarantine. We had some tests in here. Okay. And this one here, this one here is not from today, but it says no passing calibration found for this TVA. See, that's a name that I didn't use. But other than that, everything else will process through. Okay. But you still get that message if you don't have a calibration for that day. But again, if you turn it off, you can turn it off. You can still keep your paper calibration records in here if you want to. That's fine. Just create a folder, put your paper calibrations in there. But we have the new calibration records. If you got any questions, just send in a support ticket. We'll help you out, okay? Thank you for joining us this afternoon. Be safe, and we'll talk to you next month. Take care. Bye-bye.